Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house, baby. It's been a while. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
we've been doing less potting this year. It's more picking, but less potting. Yeah, it's been I know you've been busy with with life and I don't
Mhm.
know, it's tough, man. Like the hours get short quick. It's just it's and it's yeah, and it's a weird, it's an unfortunate sport in that like nothing is going on weekends in tennis.
I know. It's all weekday. It's
Like,
all weekday stuff. Yep. That's the problem at
yeah.
most of the matches. Like the weekends, it's only what semis and finals usually, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
it.
draws like may or may not be out by Friday or Saturday. You get sometimes draws are like,
Uh,
even the draws like it just depends on the draw in the tournament. But like, and now with the Masters lately, like the 2 week Masters, like those start on like a Wednesday, so draws coming out like Monday. So those are difficult. Like,
and
yeah, overall,
5 a.m. start times are also not easy to get picks on time. Like
yeah,
the time of,
yeah,
I mean, we have full-time jobs and I'm starting a pharmacy business, so it's been really busy. Plus we're playing more. The weather is getting better, so like
yeah.
out late.
I
So
love the European clay though.
it's fun. It's for me, I think it's very challenging to bet, actually. I actually prefer kind of hard courts in terms of betting. Um, I don't know. I feel like you can weigh court speed and like serving prowess better. Like with clay, it's just that, especially when it's slow clay, I feel like the momentum swings are just so hard to read in a match.
Yeah, I mean the matches can get away from guys really quickly, right? It's certainly a lot more easily than on hard. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So like I feel like one player could be the better player for like an hour and a half, and then like it just turns so quickly the match. And like
Yeah, yeah.
since everyone has to grind and rally to win points on the clay, I feel like it's very hard for the better player in the beginning part of the match to get it back. Like I feel like there's so many more LWWs than like WLWs.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually plays out, but it's an interesting thought. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't. I don't know. But it's yeah.
Yep. So I guess we're this pod we'll try to keep it under an hour and a half. It is late here on the East Coast in the US. But we're gonna do a Madrid and Rome recap. And then we'll do some ratings. And then later in the week, Friday, Saturday, we'll do the Roland Garros preview, and we'll do
Yep.
break down the draw. So we'll have two pods out this week. So so I guess let's start with Madrid. So what were your? It feels like a while ago now, but like, what were your thoughts of the event?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how long ago it was,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um. Geez, I'm like completely blanking. Like it's almost like it comes into my it like mixes up with Rome in my mind in some ways. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds so simple. We're talking about like a month ago. It's crazy to think that we haven't potted in so long. Um.
Well, Casper Ruud was the winner. He beat Jack Draper in the final.
Yeah, I mean, I think my takeaway would, I guess I can start now. Like that's the refresher.
Yeah.
Really good tournament for Draper. Obviously at altitude, but I still thought, like not necessarily particularly surprising because I agree. Like, there's no reason that he shouldn't be fine on clay.
Hmm.
But it was the first time we had seen him really perform on the surface, which is always good to see. I think. Like
Well,
I feel like just because a guy should play well, like in a particular spot or surface or whatever, doesn't mean he will.
Well, I think he's resolved some of the physical issues. I don't think they're all done. Like I think they're going to creep up here and there, especially in like tight spots. But I think he's done a good job of kind of getting better in that department. But I really think that these 2 week masters are great for him. We saw that Indian Wells with him, and then the fact that he has these days off in between matches, and you're not playing best of five. Like I think these are going to be the tournaments that are going to like really help him. Like um more so than like a 500 with a loaded field, where he has to play 4 or 5 days in a row, you know?
Yeah, I agree. So I really agree with the second part. I think that's a great take. In these 2 week
Mhm.
masters, They really do lessen the burden of the physicality.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Because you're playing, like if you look at Monte Carlo, these guys are playing like oftentimes like 5 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like now they're playing like, yeah, I guess they have to play 6 matches, but they're playing 6 matches over the course of like 12 days or 10 days.
Draper did terribly in Monte Carlo. Well, I mean, he played a tough match against Fokina, but like the
He
second
didn't play
match, he was
well.
gone.
He didn't play well.
No, he didn't. And I think that's part to do it. Like when he has a day off and he can really recover and then also game plan, like I think that really helps him.
Yeah, I'm like in between here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I'm still not. Yeah, I don't. I think, but I agree with you. I think the 2 week Masters are really a spot for him. Like I'm not surprised to see him perform well on 2 week Masters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he has as you said, he has a decent game for clay, right? Hits big off both wings, good serve, you know.
I mean, he has a good game. Period. He's athletic enough. Like he's like, there's really nothing wrong with him as a player.
No, and he did pretty well in Rome.
Yeah, he made
Honestly.
quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals. Yeah, he satisfied his ranking pretty much, right? And lost to
Yeah, and he lost to Carlos. Like that's a respectable loss. And he had
yeah.
chances in that match.
He did. He did. I mean, I think like talking about Rome, I think Alcaraz played way better in the final than he did in any other match in that event. So,
Yeah,
right? Like there were no dips from Carlos,
yeah.
right? So, I guess we could transition there because he did win Rome. Um so I mean Carlos now obviously has to be the favorite going into Roland Garros. Like I don't think there's any debate about that,
Yeah. I don't.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could maybe make a case for Yannick, but it'd be tough.
Yeah,
I think the physicality gives Carlos an edge in Roland Garros. I would agree. If I had to rank them, I would put Carlos first, but I don't know. The question is like how far ahead of Yannick is he? I'm
yeah.
not sure how far he's ahead, but I would agree. I think he's ahead.
Yeah, like I think if they played again in the Rome final, like if the market had to do a like a redo on it, I feel like the line would be flipped. Like Carlos would be -140, -150, and Alcaraz would be plus
Yeah,
121.
you might be right. I mean, in which
Sinner would
case
be
Carlos bet. In which case, I mean, I didn't play the match, but I
yeah.
know you bet Carlos in the over. In that case, you got a real steal. That was a great bet by you.
Yeah. Yeah, the over didn't come through, but I mean, it could have happened because Sinner had what 2 set points in the first set.
Yeah, that's why I don't think. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, the
Yeah,
dog was the better player. Like,
yeah, he was. I just think like I mean, he said it himself. He played the best tactical match of his career there. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that because I thought his tactics against like Novak at Wimbledon were pretty good too, but in a while, I would agree with. Like he was using a lot of different paces and like hitting some higher loop on the shot, but like heavy high loop to kind of get a short ball, I felt. No?
yeah, I wonder something, and this is a weird take,
Yeah.
but I wonder we talk about Alcaraz. Well, I feel like he wants to be an entertainer,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to be. I don't know. I also wonder like there's rumors out there that he's a bit of a party boy, which could be true. Like, I don't like. I'm not insinuating that he's trying to tank matches, but sometimes I think he has a deeper respect for Sinner
Mm-hmm.
than anybody else on the tour.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And I think sometimes against lesser opponents, it almost feels like he's playing for something more than just to win the match. Whether it be entertain the crowd, he's using it as like a practice session. Like, I'm not sure, but like it feels like, it sometimes feel like he just like plays a lot of shots he doesn't need to play against weaker opposition. And it seems like against Yannick, he like really tightens it up.
But I mean, even though he's tightening it up, he still exhibits a lot of flash, in the game. Like to me, his game against Yannick was just as aesthetically pleasing as anything else that he did all week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
if
funny
not
part of
more.
it, right? It's like it's not like it's less aesthetically pleasing. I agree.
Right.
It's just like not. I think it's like that's gonna happen. Like he knows like Yannick will create enough like, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's not like something he knows like objectively, but like during the match he just feels or something that like okay, like Yannick's creating enough energy himself that like he doesn't have to like I don't know like
I think
create the energy.
there's just no dip in concentration because he knows that if he dips 5% or loses focus, so I think there's just a conscious effort to just stay 100% focused all the time.
And really focus on like winning points.
Whereas versus other guys, like, if he's playing Laszlo Jerry, like he knows he can beat him in his sleep, so he might like, loosen up a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but if Alcaraz is up like 5-1 against Sinner, that's different than being up 5-1 against Laszlo Jiri.
I even think it's like if he loses a set to Yannick Sinner, he knows it's a problem.
Right.
Whereas like if he loses a set to Laszlo Jerry, like whatever.
Exactly.
Like it's not a huge problem.
Yeah, it's still a massive uphill battle, right?
Yeah.
If Jiri wins a set. So, yeah, I mean, it's just he's just so much better than everyone not, besides Sinner. Like they've separated themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy, It feels like a big two again.
I think it is. I mean, I think it's a very clear big two. Like, I mean, going to the French Open, I'd put those two at like 80%. I mean, I said it before.
Wow.
We talked about it before. You disagreed.
Yeah.
I'd put those two at like 80% to win the event between the two of them. Like, I think it's a two-man tournament. Like, who's knocking off both those guys? Who's taking 3 sets off of both those guys?
I mean, you might be right.
Like Zverev, you would theoretically say maybe, but if he gets to a big moment, that's not. There's nothing to believe in there. Like physically, he has the tools. I mean, you really look at it, right? Like you go through the players right now, and if you go through it, like we'll just look at the top 10. Like Zverev physically has the tools. Mentally, don't trust him at the later stage in any big match at this point. Just deadly don't trust him.
Yeah.
The fact that he's out there telling people on social media that he has dreams about winning the event is like, it's like he's trying to convince himself,
Well, he also didn't do himself any favors by being so poor in Golden Swing and like Madrid and Rome and
I actually am gonna disagree with like Golden Swing was bad. Golden Swing was horrible.
Yeah, but also like, he shouldn't be. I mean, we'll talk about Musetti. Like Musetti's been really good, but like, having 40 love in that first set and not being able to close there, and like that's a match he should win. And then also, who did he lose to in Madrid? Like losing fourth round to Dolo the way he did, like in straight sets. That Dolo's been playing well. I mean, we'll talk about him as well, but like those are not matches you should lose. At least win one of them, and then you probably keep your number 2 ranking, and you don't have to go through both of them at the French Open. See, like now,
you might not have to, right? Like you might get lucky. You give yourself a chance to get lucky.
What do you mean lucky? Like,
well, he could have. I mean, if he was the second seed and Alcaraz was third, now Alcaraz still could end up on his half, right?
True.
Like it's 50-50 chance.
True.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is like, so on the European clay this year, he's 11-3 Zverev, I think right now. And his losses are to Musetti, Cerundolo, and Berrettini. Like, that's still his top 5 performance, Like, that still is like, he's got a win over Fees, a win over Fokina, a win over Shelton in the Munich final when Shelton was playing well, win over Greek Sport Altitude. Like, is he playing at normal Zverev levels? Probably not, but his level is, I would say, back to top 10.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's, I don't think it's like he's like playing like Golden Swing, he was a scrub.
Right.
It's not there. Anyways, going through the next set of guys, then you've got Fritz, not a clay guy, and doesn't have the athleticism to beat the top 2 guys on any court.
He doesn't.
Draper maybe if you could believe in the physicality, but I don't know if he can beat either of those guys over 5 sets. Djokovic, I don't know that his level is so far down. I like if he can find a level, maybe I don't know. But then you get into
I
like
doubt it at this
Rude.
point.
What? Yeah, I
I
doubt it
doubt it at
too.
this point with Djokovic. Yeah.
Rude, no. Musetti, not versus those two guys.
Well, Rude will scam his way to a semi.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, Rude's a nice player, but like he's
Yeah.
not.
He
You
can't
know.
beat those guys. There's no
Yeah,
way. I mean, we saw with Sinner in the Rome match. It was love and one.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Sinner did play out of his mind. Like, I'll give him that. That was probably one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, Rude
I'm
after the
sorry.
match even said like it was fun to play that match because Sinner was doing next level shit. So like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing. That's basically he did use the
That's a
word next
direct
level
quote.
shit.
That's exactly what he said.
Is it the direct quote? Okay, yeah,
I mean, I also think you shouldn't be saying that because, like, the fact that you're saying it was fun just tells me like you just don't have it either to be a champion.
yeah.
Like,
I agree. I
I
agree.
don't really like it, but like he had a smile on his face. Like, you know,
Yeah,
Roddick didn't have a smile on his face when he was losing the
but like
Federer.
Musetti's now in the top 10.
But Musetti is actually really good. I have to give him some flowers. I don't like this narrative. Oh, he's underpowered. He's like, scamming his way through these draws. Like he's actually playing excellent tennis and he's playing really smart. The way he utilizes angles and paces and, you know, defends, and I actually think he's gotten a lot fitter because like I feel like he realizes that is like the only way that he's gonna beat these guys, you know. And Musetti has been getting better as the match has gone on. Like with Alcaraz, it was he got thoroughly outplayed in the first set, and that second set was he had an early break, and it was tooth and nails like to the very end.
I agree with you. Like
Yeah,
I think Musetti's come a long way,
yeah,
and I think he's a top 10 clay quarter now. It's just awkward, maybe like looking at that gap. And I guess we've had this for the last 20 years, but like you know, yeah, like it's
Mhm.
there's just not like there's it tells you what the separation level is. Let me put it that way. You know what I mean? Because like, and I even think it was this way honestly like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
even during Big Three, right? Like the guys 5 through 10, like the gap wasn't nearly as big. The guys 5 through 10 would routinely drop sets and stuff. So like at slams. So like it's not like um
I mean, I'm very curious to see where you have him in your power rankings because I don't know. Based on this discussion, I feel like I have him higher than you do.
um
Or maybe
maybe
not.
but like
Okay.
it's like I'm willing to give Musetti flowers. I think he's been great. Like I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. I think
Yeah.
you had a very very good string of commentary there. There's just a massive gap. Like when you like you look at the like it almost doesn't even like you it's weird because like you go through the list of guys and like you have a hard time finding even a path to victory for them against Sinner and Alcaraz. That was more the point. You know, like there's a few guys who
Yeah.
maybe have a path, but like maybe a Fees has a path, maybe a maybe a Draper if he can physically if he can just run through 3 sets and get out before he physically runs out of gas. You know, maybe Djokovic you can outsmart Alcaraz again like he has the last couple times, but like there's not a lot of guys
Who
who
do
can
you give
stand up
Musetti
to
a
him
better
low as
chance
well.
against? Sinner or Alcaraz?
Who do I give Musetti a better chance against?
Yeah.
Alcaraz. In general, I give almost all of these guys a better chance against Alcaraz than Sinner. But oddly, because Alcaraz's peak is higher, like I think you could make an argument for favoring Alcaraz over Sinner if that makes sense. Just like play some play style, right? Like Sinner isn't. Although actually he did make a zillion errors against Tommy Paul, but like, but then again he came back and played like after he made a zillion errors in the first set, he then like cut him out. You know, so like it's just like
Yeah.
Sinner gives away so much less. Yeah,
Right.
I feel like it's like, how are you going to take 3 sets off of Sinner? Whereas at least Alcaraz, like still has a tendency to give away like sets. So like, okay, maybe Alcaraz throws you a set. Maybe you play the set of your life and take a set, and then you can find your way to a fifth set, and then who knows? Like
Well,
I
he's
can dream up a
incredible in
path.
fifths. He's incredible in fifth sets, though.
I know,
Right, in
I
his
know.
career. So it's
Yeah.
such an uphill battle any way you think about it, right? Like these guys
I
playing to Grand Slams to cover spreads. They're playing Grand Slams to win the match, right? Anyway,
right, I agree with you. Like that's the thing, right? It's like it's hard to even like come up with a scenario where like outside of maybe a couple other guys where they can actually like beat these guys.
so
Like
with
it's a small handful that even could beat, I think, Sinner or Alcaraz, you know?
yeah, the thing with me is like I feel like the chance of like Sinner breaking down physically over best of five in clay is higher than Alcaraz. So even though Sinner gifts less, I feel like Sinner is a little bit more to be had on like a random day where he's like feeling sick. As you said, itis is a big component in a 2 week slam with Sinner, you know? So like if you had to tell me like who, you know, has a better chance of losing before the final, I probably still give a slight edge to Sinner. That steadiness, you know, that he has, and that those lack of errors and the lack of gifting sets probably makes it a little bit closer. But like, still, the injury risk, the physicality over best of five, clay still is worth surface, right? You know,
Yeah.
if he
The
plays
other
the way
huge
he played,
advantage that both of these guys get in slams, we talk about Sinner and Alcaraz, is
yeah,
every one of their matches is going to be on a roofed court. So they're never going to have to worry about rain delays like screwing up their schedule either.
that's true. That's true. But you know, I don't know if like Sinner will ever have a match like he did against Altmaier a couple years ago at the French again. Like will that ever creep up again? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will, right? Like I'm sure, and I'm sure it will for Alcaraz too. You know, like I mean, even in his prime, right? Like even in their primes, the big three would like lose two matches a decade in slams that were like ridiculous, right?
right,
Like
right, right.
Stokowski beating Federer, right? Like,
Yeah.
what was it? Sol beating Nadal. Like you can
Istomin
think of them off the
beating
top of your head.
Djokovic.
What?
Yeah. Istomin beating Djokovic.
Yeah, like twice a decade. Yeah, it'll happen. You know what I mean? I mean, Sinner's gonna at some point. Sinner's gonna chunk a match to some random dude on a hard court, similar to Alcaraz losing to VDZ. You know, like it's like
His
once this
record
decade,
versus guys outside of the top 10 is just ridiculous.
Sinner's record. I know it is absurd,
It's
but
absurd.
like at some point he's going to. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think in some point in the next decade, Sinner will chunk a match. Just like I mean, we've seen him chunk sets, right? He was down a set and a break to Mackey. He lost the first set to School Kate, I think, right this year, maybe at the Australian Open. So like, I think at some point he'll just like he won't be able to find it and he'll lose like a complete. So like the answer is yes, but it's
Yeah.
not likely. Like I wouldn't bet on it. I'm not going to be cashing in when it happens, because like you're
Yeah.
gonna have to bet like you're gonna have to lose 100 bets to win one.
I mean, I think the difference between like also Alcaraz and Sinner is that they have so many layers to their game, right? Especially Alcaraz. I feel like Alcaraz has more layers because Sinner just has such a strong base level. But I feel like they can ramp up the intensity. It's kind of like I felt like Djokovic, that's when he was in his prime. He just had so many gears, right? Like even when the opponent would keep it close, you knew that he had that extra gear to go to, right? Whereas I just feel like
Yeah, and the
most
thing
guys
is
just don't
like
have like Musetti.
and the
Musetti's
thing
been
that
playing
like
great, but he doesn't have that gear.
yeah, the thing that Sinner so it's a little I think like Sinner can kind of do what Djokovic would do. And like I mean what I remember is when Djokovic was in trouble, and he even said this, Djokovic would say this, like he could just make balls to no end. Like he like prime Djokovic
Yeah,
could
right,
just make like 60 straight balls if he had to.
right.
And like then and if the other guy wins, like he would and that's what he would do in tiebreaks. That's why his tiebreak record was so good. His strategy was basically like
Yeah,
against lesser guys, keep the ball in. And he wasn't just like dinking it in, right? He's hitting like really good strokes and
right.
like make the guy come up with something special.
Yeah,
Make him do that 7 times, and like it's really hard to do that.
it is.
And I think that Sinner certainly has the ability to do that. His defense is incredible. And like the way he gets balls back, like just makes like strong neutral balls off of like out of like ridiculous positions off the stretch is like insane, similar to Djokovic.
Right.
And with Alcaraz, I think Alcaraz has what I would say there's so many layers. Like he's got so many different potential tactics in the bag he can go to.
Yeah.
I mean, he really doesn't like he doesn't have a shot that's a weakness, Alcaraz. Like discipline and tactics might sometimes be a weakness, but like in terms of like the physical game, like
Yeah, he's
there's no
able to pull
weakness.
out any shot there is in the
Yeah.
at 22, it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's insane. Like he has GOAT talent. He does.
He does. He does.
You know?
If he can put
Like,
together the discipline and but it'll be really interesting because between him and Sinner, it'll be interesting.
yeah. I I feel like there are matches like even Beijing, I mean it was dramatic, right? But I felt like the quality doesn't feel the same as like a Djokovic or Nadal because I feel like it's more of a chess match, even more so than when the big three were playing, just because they feel like any ball that is not hit with 100% quality is going to get punished. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I feel when they play. Like, so they're always like trying to hit the best ball possible. You know, like in terms of ball quality, and it's just really hard to execute that.
Yeah. I also think that like I don't think their matches like look as cool as like I don't know, like I think if you wanted to compare the big two to big three, and I'm not saying that either of those two are exactly like these guys, because I don't think they are, but I
Mhm.
would compare it the most to like Nadal versus Djokovic in the sense that like they would have incredible rallies, but like it wasn't like the style difference that like kind of makes, if they say like styles make fights, like I think the style difference between like a Federer and Nadal, like that's why I think like people still I don't know, if like go nostalgic over Federer and Nadal is because
Yeah.
like that style difference was such a fun style difference to watch.
Right. Right. Right.
Right. Because it was two very distinctly and obviously different ways of playing. Whereas, like, I think Nadal or not Nadal, Alcaraz and Sinner have very different styles, but it's not like as opposite as Federer and Nadal were, right? It's like,
But I
and so
think
it's
it's
not
more.
like,
I think it's more a chess match like the Federer Nadal rivalry more so than the Nadal Djokovic rivalry. Like the Nadal Djokovic rivalry was like, well, especially with Nadal, and he said this in the podcast with Roddick. It's like his only tactic was really just to play really well for long periods of time. There's no like distinct tactic, right? And that's what I feel like Alcaraz is trying to do against Sinner. He's just trying to hit the highest quality balls for the longest period of time without any dips. You know,
right.
he's shown that he's capable of doing it. Like he doesn't do it against the Laszlo Giris of the world, but he does it against Sinner. So but he knows that he has to do that, otherwise he has no chance.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I said it on previous pods. Like I think Alcaraz, he's a Federer Nadal hybrid, and Sinner is Djokovic, is a modern day Djokovic.
I don't know, like what? I don't feel like, I don't feel like Alcaraz is that similar to Federer. I'm the only person who I think feels that way, but I don't see as much of the Federer in Alcaraz. I
It's
guess I get it from
it's the
like
flair, it's the drop shots, it's the fluidity in the movement.
okay, all right. I mean, Nadal had the movement though too.
Yeah, but Nadal's movement was more rugged, right?
Okay,
That's why I'm saying it's a hybrid because like he has that
yeah,
rugged movement, but he also has that like graceful movement too, right? Like he's both.
yeah,
He's like a
okay,
hybrid. The drop shots are
okay.
better,
I can see
you know?
it. Yeah,
But Sinner is just like modern day Djokovic. That's what he is. He's like, I would say less physical, but hits the ball harder and has more length, right?
he also gets incredible depth center.
He does. Well, that's a Djokovic staple as well, right?
It is. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
consistent depth. And I think,
Probably the tactics. I don't think he moves the ball around the court as well as Djokovic did, you know?
yeah,
I think there's still like I mean, there still is some work to do for Sinner in terms of maybe point construction and in terms of like coming forward. I mean, it's gotten a lot better, right? It's why he's by far number one in the world on hard courts, but there's still some work to do
well,
there.
I felt like that weakness with like his lack of willingness to come forward. I actually think it hurt him against Alcaraz in that match.
Well, and I think Alcaraz is kind of the one guy who can expose that because like Alcaraz is the one guy who actually has enough, like maybe not the one guy, but he's one of the few who has enough different clubs in the bag to expose Sinner.
Yeah.
Rune did it for a set at the Australian, right? Where he took the second set, I think, from Sinner.
Yeah, but Sinner was also feeling it physically. It was like a hot day and he was sick, I think.
I guess maybe, but I feel like I don't know. You might be right about that, but I feel like there's but Rune's played Sinner tough before, right? Didn't he take a set from at Monte Carlo last year? Like, I guess my point is, I feel like there's a handful of guys who, to your point, like can push Sinner to like, and if you have enough clubs in the bag, like that's like there are a few guys out there who do have more clubs in the bag than Sinner.
Yeah, Medvedev used to. He just doesn't anymore.
Oh, I don't know if Medvedev ever had more clubs in the bag. It was just that he could just run Sinner,
Run down balls, right?
run down balls and make Sinner work.
Like he still has some hesitancy, especially against Alcaraz, coming forward and finishing points at the net, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that came out in that match against Alcaraz in the Rome.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And the fact that like he doesn't, like Sinner doesn't, although he's doing more of it, but I still wouldn't say it's the staple of his game. Like, the moving the ball around the court, right? Like it's mostly deep shots, either the forehand or the backhand, but he's not like, he doesn't like, you don't see him use like the angle ball very much. You see him use the drop shot more than he used to. We don't see him use the angle shot very much. There's
Yeah.
and I feel like that is, there are, like I said, there's maybe a handful of guys,
It's scary that he has this much room to improve, though. It's scary.
well, because his basics are so, I mean, his basics are so up, like his fundamental forehand, backhand, and defense, which is like the core of tennis. He's just so far fundamentally ahead of everyone on core tennis stuff now. It almost doesn't matter.
Right.
And like against maybe 4 to 5 guys, you know what I mean? Like, and it's really like, honestly, and it really is honestly maybe a couple guys. It's like a Rune who decides he wants to actually like play maturely that day, and plays really well. I don't even think a Feast is there yet. Maybe if a Djokovic that finds like his top form, but even then, like I don't know.
I mean,
Zverev who like
needs to
mentally
find Olympic final form, right?
Right.
That's what Djokovic needs, right?
Right.
And I just think he can come up with that now.
Maybe a Draper, but I don't like that matchup for Draper against Sinner. And then like maybe a Zverev if he could keep his head on straight for a match with Sinner, but it seems to have a hard time doing that. So like it's a
Zverev did even say that like after the Australian Open final, like Sinner is just a better player right now, right? And
which is true, but I'm trying to list guys who like could do something against him. You know what I mean? Who like have like I'm trying to list guys who have a path, not like guys who I like.
The only way
Zverev
has even a path right now is he needs like other elements to come in. Like he needs physicality to come in. He needs like a really, really hot, humid day, right? Like that's what he needs. He needs something else to impact Sinner's performance.
You're saying Zverev would?
Yeah. Like you know how he got really close in Cincinnati? It was a third set tiebreak.
Yeah.
I also day.
Yeah.
It was really windy, right? Like he needs.
I also think like I said, I think a lot of it too is it's a bad matchup for Zverev, to be honest, because of how Zverev plays. Like Zverev doesn't, like he has the ability to do all this different stuff, but he just doesn't. And then you have the mental issues where he just like, he just so often mentally just like Zverev's base, like, I don't know, they say like when you're in a stressful situation, you go to like your base. And Zverev's base tactic is going to be to stand behind the baseline and try to hit ground strokes in the court and just grind people
Right,
out.
right. So let's do this exercise. I think it's going to be fun. So I'm going to name like, some of the top guys. And you're going to tell me who you think they would rather play at the French.
Okay.
Alcaraz.
Okay.
Right. So, I guess we could start with Zverev. I think that's pretty easy, right? I think he'd much rather play Carlos.
Yeah, that's very straightforward. Yeah.
Easy. Draper.
This is tough. I think he's had more success against Alcaraz, right? He's beaten Alcaraz. He's
Indian
beaten
Wells.
Alcaraz in Indian Wells. He's beaten Alcaraz at the Queen's Club last year, right? So he's had more success against Alcaraz. But I don't know if he can beat Alcaraz in best of 5. I think it's just a completely different animal for him, especially in the later stages of best of 5 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at least Sinner, the physicality piece is more fair.
Well, Draper has never proven anything in a slam yet, right? I think his best result is what, 4th round?
Draper, yeah. I think you're, yeah.
Oh, no, semis.
No, semis of the US Open, yeah. But even that wasn't the most impressive run. Right? Didn't he beat a bunch of scrubs? Like, I'm trying to look at who he beat.
He beat Mahawk in the 4th round. He beat injured Demonor in the quarterfinal. Right?
Right. Yeah, it wasn't the...
Yeah. And then he was gassed after 1 set against Sinner. So
yeah, I mean, he benefited from the VDZ upset of Carlos.
he did. That's true.
Yeah, his wins were Zhang, Diaz Acosta, VDZ, Makac, who wasn't really where he is now quite yet at that point.
Oh, wow. So he would have played Alcaraz in the 3rd round or 4th round?
What?
He would have played Alcaraz in the 3rd round?
Yeah, 3rd. Yeah.
Looking back.
That tells you how far Draper's come, too.
That draw was loaded. Like that section.
Yeah. I mean, remember too,
Hindsight.
back then we were thinking of Draper as like a somewhere in the teens player. He was seeded 25th. I think we probably thought of him as a little higher than that, but like
he
was, I don't think people were talking about him up as like a top 10 player at that point.
I think it's pretty even who he would probably prefer to play neither. All of these guys would prefer to play neither.
I think all of these guys would prefer rather to play neither.
Yeah, I guess. Rude.
Despite the fact that he just got drilled 6-1, 6 love, I think I'm going to say Sinner.
Oof.
But this is another neither is the answer here. Like Rude, I mean, like this is a true neither because like Rude, I mean, like I feel like Rude. I mean, look, we kind of saw it right when Rude got into like those finals of the slams. Like he just got drilled.
He did. He did get drilled.
Like he's just like not like he's good enough. Like he's good enough to beat anybody like who's not a top player. But then against like top, against top 3 guys, he just doesn't have the game. I mean, if you look at what he really what really does he do that well? He's got a really nice topspin forehand.
I know. A decent serve.
And a good serve, but it's not like it's elite.
No, it's not.
He's got a good.
That's where Sinner killed him, is the backhand to backhand exchanges. He just
right
in those.
Right, he's got a good serve and like and even his forehand, it's like really really good, but it's not like a Del Potro forehand from back in the day. And I know it's not that type of forehand, but it's not like he's just got like he's got a really good game, but like
it's interesting. Like I actually think Rude would rather play prime Djokovic than play Sinner or Alcaraz right now, because even prime Djokovic, like he would shrink the court and get so many balls back and not miss, like hit 65 balls close to the baseline in a row, but he at least would give Rude time to play. And like I thought Rude was decently competitive in that 23 final. Maybe it wasn't Djokovic's best match because there was so much at stake. I think he was going for 24 there. But I don't know. I feel like Alcaraz and Sinner, they don't give him any like freedom or like any time to breathe.
I don't know. I think it's a stretch to say that final against Djokovic was super competitive. I agree with the theory, But I think it's a stretch. I mean, like, I remember Djokovic gifted him a break early in the match with a missed overhead. And the first set went to a tie break. Like, Ruud did a decent job holding serve in that match. But I think I mean, it didn't look, I don't think he, I think he got, I think the only break he got was that break it was in the first or second service game where Djokovic missed an overhead and gifted it to him. And then, like, after that, like, he didn't really have much of a chance. I don't even know if he probably generated more break points. I don't have the stats on hand, but like, he didn't, I don't know. I remember watching that match.
I'm not saying Prime Djokovic is a good matchup for Ruud. I just think like Ruud needs time, right? That's what he needs. He needs time to set up and, be able to run around the forehand. And Sinner and Alcaraz just offer no, like, Alcaraz might give him some more errors than Prime Djokovic or Sinner, but like they just don't give him any time to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Like, in reality, like, yeah, so Joe, I mean, so that match, no, that's wrong. But yeah, I'll agree with you in the sense that, like, yeah, the reality is it's neither, but like, yeah. Like it's yeah, he just doesn't he just gets annihilated by these, by these
for all of them, it's neither, but
that's the problem, yeah.
Musetti?
Carlos. I mean, look, Musetti's gotten a lot better. He's not good enough to hit winners, to hit through Jannik Sinner. You know what I mean? Like how is he gonna like beat Sinner? Where at least Alcaraz maybe will gift him some errors.
I agree with you. Yeah, Sinner's not going to gift him anything. But I don't think Musetti could hit through. I mean, he can't really hit through a lot of guys. He does other things. Like he does that thing that Sinner doesn't do, is like utilize angles and different paces.
Right, and like that's why against Alcaraz, maybe he can like confuse Alcaraz by doing that, and maybe he can like, maybe he can, he can at least put Alcaraz in weird positions and maybe get him to miss, like, whereas Sinner's just gonna like keep making balls deep in the to forehand or backhand, and like if the guy's hitting the ball deep into the corner, like that's then it's hard to generate angles, right? Like.
Yeah, and Sinner is also better at generating offense from no pace.
Yeah.
Pace.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, more consistently. One thing that Alcaraz does better on clay though is movement. Like his movement is far superior than Sinner's.
I agree.
In terms
like,
of
like I'll give you the one guy who I actually think would because I don't think there's too many of them. I think the one guy that would rather play Sinner than Alcaraz is Rune.
Okay. I probably agree with that. What about Cerundolo?
I mean, Cerundolo's gonna have the same problem, right? Cerundolo's big thing is to try to hit forehands through. He's gonna run into the same problem that a lot of these guys do. Like he's gonna have a hard time hitting through Sinner, right? I guess he could try to bomb forehands through Sinner. Like Cerundolo doesn't have a bomb forehand. I guess he could try to bomb forehands through Sinner, but like the backhand and
Madrid and Rome, the Dolo forehand was the biggest shot on the court still. The Dolo forehand is elite.
I agree. I think it's an interesting one. I
feel like I feel like Dolo would prefer Sinner just because Sinner hits more linear balls, whereas I don't think Dolo is great at moving forward.
I would definitely agree with that.
I think he prefers kind of running laterally and just ripping groundies, which is what he would have to do against Sinner more so than Alcaraz.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just I feel like it's a tough one because like in Dolo's mind, he'd probably prefer playing Sinner. But does he actually have a better chance to win? I don't know, because like Sinner probably also doesn't mind playing Cerundolo, right? Like Cerundolo will hit him a bunch of linear balls and he gets to play a linear game too, right?
That is true. That is true. That's a good point. But I feel like Dolo doesn't he gives a lot of pace back, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Alcaraz is kind of more adept at dealing with more pace, right? Like
sometimes, but then sometimes he can get rushed.
Overheads. That's true.
I
Yeah.
think it's a tough one to call. I hear your point. I don't think your point is completely like insane to say that. I think there's definitely areas where Dolo would prefer Sinner to play against Sinner. I think like the Sinner ball is probably easier for Dolo to hit than the Alcaraz ball.
Mhm.
But it's also like, does that actually like,
Well, it doesn't matter because if it gets to 5-all or 6-all, he's just gonna choke.
yeah,
So it doesn't matter, right?
yeah,
Like, the question is, who is he more likely to get to 5-all in
yeah,
versus, right?
yeah.
Um, but like that's why I think Musetti would much rather play Alcaraz because, I feel like Musetti likes those cat and mouse points. Like he feeds off of that,
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think on this list, on the list we've talked about so far, the only two ones that really have probably a strong preference are probably Musetti to play Alcaraz and Rune to play Sinner.
And Zverev to play Alcaraz.
And Zverev to play Alcaraz for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
How about Arthur Fils?
I was trying to think about this one. I don't know. Like, I might say Sinner, but I think it's close because, like, I think the problem he has is like at least Feast maybe can out athlete Sinner. I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but like at least like maybe he's got that advantage there. Whereas I feel like Alcaraz is just a better version of Feast. He's just a more complete Feast. He's like what Feast like should try to become in 3 years.
Yeah, it is a tricky one. I think he would much rather play Alcaraz than Sinner. I feel like he, the thing with Feast is that he just tries to outblast you. That's all he does. And like against 95% of the tour, he's just so much better athletically and, physically that like he can do that. But I feel like that's a disaster waiting to happen against Sinner. If you just try to outblast him, like
You
you're
might
gonna
be right.
lose. You
It's
know?
the same thing as I said with the Cerundolo in some ways, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, Feast probably will have fun playing that Sinner match and like getting to be the better athlete and try to blast away, but he's probably not going to actually win the points.
exactly. Because Sinner's gonna get it back really deep and he's just gonna bait him into going bigger
Yeah,
and
similar to what would
behind.
happen with
It'll just
Dolo,
be a
probably.
disaster.
Yeah,
Right. Whereas with Alcaraz, see, Alcaraz makes it athletic,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's what he does. He loves also the show and like playing the cat and mouse and like Feast is able to match that because he's such a great athlete himself, right? Can he do it over 3 out of 5 sets? No, right? Is he gonna give more dumb errors? Like he has those lacks of concentration that Carlos has times 10. And that's why he's where
yeah.
he is, right? And Carlos just has more layers, you know?
Yeah.
But to me, I think that's a pretty easy one if I think about it. I mean, after you get, after those guys, like there's no one that even has a
I mean,
remote
that's the
shot.
handful. We hit it on the head. That's the handful of interesting players, right? Like
Right.
the next guy on the list, the next two guys on the list that I would say would be interesting if I had to continue the list. The next three guys would be maybe Mensick,
Hmm.
Fokina, and Berrettini. I think like I said, I think we're starting to dig to the bottom of the barrel now, but like those would be the next
Well,
three.
Berrettini can't last more than a set against anyone. He just
Right,
tires.
right.
So it's like I don't even know why he's playing if he's just gonna like call it quits after one set. And he's actually been competitive in those sets, and then he's still just like, I'm not gonna win 2 sets, so just pull the plug. I actually think it's been quite soft, and I don't think people have called him out for it. So I
I
don't
don't
really
know.
like it.
I think it's because it's almost like this is his second career, and it's almost like like I hear you, but I feel like in some cases it's almost like giving him credit just for making it back.
I'm not. If you can't play 2 sets, don't play the match at all. Like, come on, you got to win 2 sets to win a match. Like, you only last one set, and you call it quits. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, especially to do that in a night match and you're in front of your home fans. Like the Madrid one against Draper, kind of understood, but he didn't even like call the trainer. I had a front row seat for that match. Like, didn't even call the trainer, didn't even have him look like he's like, I can't come back. Like, that's it. And he was really competitive in that first set. So, like, the crowd had no idea, and he just walked
Yeah.
off the court. It was bizarre. But I thought, okay, he's getting ready for Rome. It's his home event. Like, okay, I'll give him a pass for this one. He did the same shit against Rude.
Yeah.
So no, no pass.
Yeah, a lot of retirements on the ledger for Berrettini. 3 in the past. I mean, I guess 2 in a month is really bad, but you know, he's it's not the first time he's done something like that.
If you're not healthy and you want to take some time off, great. Right? We talked about it with mental health. It goes same for physical health. Right? Just don't like basically like screw the fans over because like you can't play 2 sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, what was I gonna say? So like this is where I want to comment about Musetti. Like, so remember when they played in Monte Carlo? It was I think a fourth round match, and like Berrettini just came off the win against Zverev,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
it was a pure pick, I think, and like I think Berrettini was like minus 120,
Yeah.
they plus 100. If they played right now, where would that line be? Is it Musetti probably like a 4 game favorite,
No, maybe like
three and a
3,
half,
but yeah.
but substantial, right? So
Yeah,
like
Musetti would be favored.
it's crazy how much he's improved since then, or like how much his stock has gone up.
Yeah, I think it's this is one of the takeaways I wanted to have, just general take. And I kind of meant to get into the show earlier with it, but I feel like now that we can talk about this. Like, one of my takeaways has been like, I think, and maybe there's a sneaky betting angle here, but I think you can look at grass in a lot of ways outside of the serve. You can look at grass to look at who's going to be decent on the clay. Like, there's a decent amount of overlap between guys who are really good on clay and grass. I mean, starting at the top with Alcaraz,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Plays better on. I think his worst surface is hard. He's better on the natural surfaces. Um, I would put Musetti in that category.
Mhm.
Uh, would put Cerundolo in that category. Ironically, like, there's a decent number of guys here. Berrettini's certainly in that category. He's one of the leaders of that category. But there's a decent group of guys who are like kind of these like clay grass guys, right? And then you've got a decent number of guys who are probably better on hard than the other surfaces. Like, even a guy like a Taylor Fritz. Like, what's Taylor Fritz done at Wimbledon? He lost the one match to Nadal, right? When Nadal had like one
He,
rib.
he beat Zverev and he made the quarters, lost to Musetti in the 5 setter last year. I mean, he's pretty good on grass.
Yes. I guess because of the serve, right? I guess because of the serve. You're right. And so
Fritz,
that's
there's
a
his
bad example.
precipitous downfall in clay prowess with Fritz.
Yeah, but it's because of the serve. Like, you're right. You're right. I'll give you that one. But I think, but it's hard to find like, I don't know. I feel like it's like and obviously there's some guys who are clay specialists and most times it's because they don't have a serve, and the serve isn't as important on the clay. But I do feel like there's this cohort of guys like
Would you put Fokina in that category?
I think Fokina is pretty close to an all quarter, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's probably a little better on clay, but I think it's probably more that there are some guys who just don't play well on the clay because the movement's different. They can't bail themselves out with the serve.
Hmm.
But
I mean, and then there are guys that are just good on South American clay, like Baez.
yeah, I mean that's a whole different ball game, right? Like, I think
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, that's the South American cohort for the most part.
Right.
Ironically, Cerundolo, I feel like of those guys, like, the only one of those
Wasn't all
clay quarters that really has performed well outside of South America is Cerundolo.
Yeah, I mean Cerundolo is a really good player. Like he's really improved. I think we have to give him
I
some.
don't know. I don't know, man. Like I think he's still got to prove to me on hard courts.
I mean, he made Miami quarters. Like he was really good in
He's
Miami.
done well in Miami weirdly his whole career. He
Yeah, but
he did
something
well in
has
Indian
to.
Wells too. He did a good Sunshine
Yeah,
Double, but are we going to say that because of two hardcore tournaments, he suddenly is a better hardcore player? I'm not convinced.
I mean, to make quarters and quarters in both, Sunshine Double, like it's good. You
It
know.
is good. It's good. It's 1 month, right? Like in a
Yeah, but
career.
then I mean, clay is his best surface, but he's had a really, really good clay season.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I do not question Cerundolo on anything other than hard courts.
he did okay. All right, he's born. I agree with you that hard court is his worst surface, but like I don't think there's any reason why he can't be better on it, is what I'm saying. I'm gonna be more curious to see, can he do it on like a quick hard court? Like what is he gonna do in Cincinnati, for example? You know?
Sure, sure. But his serve isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. So
I mean, it's not elite. You know what I mean? He's not like out there hitting aces like, like Fritz or, one of these. He's not like an elite server. And it's probably his serve is probably pretty poor for a top 10,
yeah.
top 20 player, but I don't think he's like a bad server relative to like the
No.
average ATP player. It's just like he's got like a solid serve, like a good serve.
Yeah, it's kind of like Medvedev's at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've been more impressed with Dolo. He's been a source of a lot of betting pain for me. Like I feel like every time I bet him to win the quarter at a high price or win the event, he like just falls short. And then whenever I don't bet him, he actually does win the quarter. Like that's what it's felt like this year. It's been brutal. Like, and then he loses to Shelton out of nowhere on clay in Munich. Like, really?
He did win Umag for me last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
one.
he's still in my good graces from that, but
That was a crazy tournament. He played Musetti in a classic 3-set final, and then
yeah.
they
Yeah.
like booked it to Paris, right, for the
Yeah.
Olympics, right? Both of them.
Yeah.
And then
Like they
Musetti
actually gave him an extra day. They changed the schedule slightly to accommodate. Like, yeah, it was pretty.
it was impressive from both guys, honestly, to play that event like the way they did, and then
Yeah,
like
and for Cerundolo, I mean, like, granted, he beat Barrios Vera and Umbero on clay, but to come back and like play two matches right away and like play, like
yeah. Dola loves. I mean, he plays every week. He's even playing this week in Hamburg, which like I'm surprised by,
well, he
given.
won Eastbourne, right? I think he won Eastbourne the year. Or one of the years was
Yeah.
Wimbledon. Like, I don't think he minds these warm-up events. Like Ruud. I mean, I don't think Ruud's playing this year, but like, or is he playing? Is Ruud playing one of the
No, I
events?
think
He's not, right?
he pulled out.
Yeah. But like sometimes some of these guys actually like to play the week before the slam.
Yeah, he'd probably prefer it than
And I think didn't Ruud win Geneva one year and then make like the French Open semi or final?
last year. Last year.
Yeah. And didn't he do it like another year too? I think he did. I think Ruud's like a three-time or I think he's a multi-time Geneva champ.
Yeah, but usually he loses early in the Masters 1000s. But this year he won Madrid and then made the quarters of Rome. So I think he feels like, okay, I had enough matches.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
So, all right, let's get into power rankings. So I mean, I think 1 and 2 are very clear.
Oh yeah, I mean we've discussed those guys ad nauseam. I think we're good. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
can probably just start at
Alcaraz
three.
1, Sinner 2. So then it gets interesting. Um, who's number 3 for you? Like, I think we should tailor these power rankings based on, like, do we base it on who we think could win Roland Garros, or do we base them on who's the best on clay at the moment? Because I think they're two totally different things. Based on if you're weighing 2 out of 3 sets or 3 out of 5 sets. Because my list is different. depending
I
on
agree. That's why I gave you the same grin, right? Because
yeah.
it's a different list. Um, let's do 2 out of 3 because I think it's a more fun list, probably
Okay. All right.
less applicable for right now, but probably more fun.
Okay. We could do both.
Yeah, we can do. Let's do both. Let's do both.
Do
We can
both.
do both. Yeah.
So who's number 3 for you?
In
If
a 3 out of 5 Zverev, and it's pretty clear for me in a 3 out of 5.
me too.
Um, in a 2 out of 3, like in a 2 week master style tournament, I'm so tempted to say Draper, man. But I know I feel like it's a little bit prisoner of the moment because of Madrid, but
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I think in a 2 out of 3 master style tournament, I think I would say Draper. Like he played pretty poorly against Fokina, and he still had chances to win that match.
I agree. So for me, the 3 out of 5 one, number 3 is Zverev. It's pretty easy. But 3 and 4, in terms of 2 out of 3 sets, 3 and 4 are very, very close. And I'm gonna go with Draper 3 and Musetti 4, but it's extremely close. Extremely close.
For me, that one's not close. I think that like,
Okay.
and the reason I say that is because I think that like I think Draper's shown more potential to be. Although Alcaraz, I mean, Musetti's beaten Alcaraz how many times? At least once, twice,
Once in Hamburg.
once. Okay, it's just Hamburg. Right, right, right. So yeah, so whereas Draper's beaten Alcaraz twice in the past year, I know not on clay, but Indian Wells is a really slow surface. It plays very similar to a clay. Um, and we were talking about how that's Alcaraz's best court for, until Draper beat him on it. So for me, like, because I think Draper matches up better with the top two, I would put him third. But I hear your point. Like, I don't think, yeah, I hear your point.
I think physicality is less of an issue with Musetti. So
Well, if
I'm
it's 2 out of 3 sets right now, then physicality is reduced.
it's still like a small factor in where I weigh it. Like I'm still putting
Yeah.
Draper ahead. I'm just like explaining why it's closer.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think if you put the match on at altitude, like when they played in Madrid, I'd make Draper probably a minus like 160 favorite kind of thing, right? But if you move that match to Rome, I probably put it at a pick 'em.
Okay. Okay.
So, so I feel like if it depends on the conditions, Draper has a little bit more better serve, but I also feel like Musetti is better. Like I feel like he can expose like Draper's like lack of. I mean, he's a good mover on clay, but I feel like that's where Musetti has the edge. His comfort in moving on the surface.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's close. I put Draper slightly ahead, but Musetti's very, very close. He's 4. Is he 4 for you, or you put someone ahead of Musetti?
This gets tough, man. He's in my next tier. My next tier's got Rude, Musetti, Cerundolo, and Feast. And I don't know how to split these guys, man. It's so close between those four. But I think those four, like for me, it's like 1, 2, 3, and there's a fair bit of gap.
Okay.
There's a
Okay.
bigger gap between 2 and 3 than 1 and 2, as we discussed.
All right.
But for me, it's 1, 2, 3, and now 4 through 7 is a real fight between Dolo, um, Dolo, Rude, and Musetti.
Okay,
Um,
so I get the 2 out of 3 list, but if we transition back to the 3 out of 5 list for a second,
yeah.
where do you put Djokovic in all this? You're tired about talking about it.
No, like I have no idea because like his form has been so bad this year. I mean, it's a really interesting question. His
Yeah,
form has been so bad this year. I'd probably throw him in that bucket, like in a 3 out of 5. I'd probably throw him in that tier that I just listed because like I feel like that's the tier where you start to get into the guys who just like aren't mentally strong enough to beat him either.
right.
You know, like and so I forgot about Zverev too. So for me, it's probably Draper. Zverev can go in that tier two, fourth grade. He probably is a step above, so it'd probably be Draper then Zverev, and then like in 2 out of 3, then probably the Rude, Dolo, etc. tiers probably 5 through 8.
Okay.
Just based on like Zverev's sheer like physical skills. I
Yeah.
know that like this clay season hasn't been his best of form, but like I don't know, at some point being good at tennis matters.
Right. So in my 2 out of 3 list, I actually put Draper at 3. I put Musetti at 4, and I put Zverev at 5. In
Okay.
the two out of
So
three.
I would put Zverev at 4 still. I think like I just think like I hear you. Like his form right now has not been good, but he's just as an athlete, he's so much more dominant.
Right.
Serve is so much better. Like
But in the 3 out of 5 list, it's Zverev at 3, Draper at 4, Musetti at 5.
for me, then it's Zverev at 3, and then
Yeah.
Draper gets knocked down a bunch.
Oh,
Um,
more?
he might. I mean, I think in a best of 5, honestly, he probably goes even below that tier. I'm really low on
Wow.
Draper in a best of 5. I
Wow.
just
Okay.
the physicality. I mean, just that's where it becomes a problem, right? Like yeah.
Interesting.
Like I think in a 3 out of 5, it would be Zverev 3,
Musetti's
maybe
gotten a lot better.
Rude 4, and then like
Oh yeah, Rude.
just because Rude does have the physical, right? That's the one like one thing that Rude
Yes.
does. Like Rude, I don't know if I've ever seen Rude get worn down physically.
Yeah, it's true.
So like, so I'd probably go Rude 4, and then Musetti, Dolo, Feast are like a 5 through 7, where it's like really tough to call. And then it really is like depending on what you're kind of waiting. Because like I'd probably take Musetti over Dolo or Feast, but like Feast has a better chance of beating the guys the guys directly above him, and so does Dolo, right? So like Dolo's maybe a little more in between, but like it becomes really a what are you looking for? It's really tough to split those 5 through 7.
It is. All
Like
right.
I like if it was if I was betting on a 3-man round robin Musetti Dolo fees, I'd probably go Musetti. So I guess that was my tiebreaker, and I'd put him at 5. Maybe fees 6, Dolo 7, and then Draper probably slides in with Tsitsipas and Rune in like the 8 to 10 category.
Okay. So you're
Whereas
breaking.
best of 3 for me, Draper's a lot higher.
Okay.
Like he's the biggest one for me, where like 3 sets or 5 sets matters, right? Like, and then Djokovic is probably just below that pile. 2 out of 3, he's below. In best of 5, I'd probably slide him in at 8, right? Actually, below maybe 9. I don't know. Maybe Djokovic goes in that pile with like the Draper sits or not the Draper, the Draper Tsitsipas Rune file. Maybe
Wait. So you put Draper in the Sissipas tier in best of 5?
in like 8 through 11. Yeah, that's like my 8 through 11 is
That's way too low. That's way too low for me. I best of 5. I probably put him. You know what? I'm gonna put Rude at 4. So it's Alcaraz, Sinner, Zverev, Rude, then Draper, then Musetti. in my best of five. I still think, well, maybe Musetti above Draper, but it's definitely like, see, Draper and Musetti for me are the two closest ones.
Okay, so you would put
They're
a
really
tier between
close in
Draper.
both tiers.
Yeah, so I've got them. So like we yeah. So I've got Musetti and Draper. In best of five, right? I've got Draper and Musetti a tier lower than you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the tier is a different way of doing this though, because it is like there are like I do think there are for me there are like they are like these kind of like cut points.
Okay. All right. And then after those two guys, I probably put like in my best of three, I think Rude is just under Draper and Musetti, right? So I think
Okay.
he's the lowest of those three guys. And then it's the Dolo Feast and what was that third guy you were talking about in that tier? Oh, Musetti, you included him in there.
Yeah.
All right, so I probably put Dolo just slightly ahead of Feast. I think Feast's stock has actually lowered slightly. Like the last time we potted, Feast was in our top five, and he's dropped.
Well, I mean, like I said, I put him in a 4 through 7 group, right? I don't know that he's dropped. I mean, like, I don't know that he's dropped as much as like Musetti's risen, and as much as like Musetti's risen and Dolo's continued to show form on the clay, like I don't
Mhm.
know. Like I don't feel like it's as much taking anything away from Feast. Like and also in the two Masters, right? He went out in the first match to Komasana, which is still an issue for him, right? He still throws away, as we've said, like he still is
Yeah.
absent a few times a year.
Right.
And then he lost to Zverev in Rome, which isn't like it's not a bad loss by any stretch of the imagination,
Yeah.
but we're talking top 10 guys, right? So like it's pretty high standards.
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mensick is also another guy, which I would, massively weigh in a better, higher in a 2 out of 3.
I
Like,
just think Mensick for me is he's below the Tsitsipas Holger group. Like
yeah,
he's in like the teens group, and that teens group is like uh
well, he's in that group if you're talking 2 out of 3 sets, but 3 out of 5, he's
yeah,
way.
he's lower for sure. For sure. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably the king now. He's probably taking that title from Draper of like most physically weak.
Um, I'm not gonna go there because he did survive Miami. He did do well. I hate to say it, like I don't want to call Berrettini physically weak, but uh,
Yeah,
those two
you're right.
are,
You're right. Berrettini's probably you're right. He's probably yeah, right. It's probably again because Berrettini's older, we don't put him in that same bucket, but you're probably right.
I mean, you can also look at Mensik's fellow Czech men, and they're also both physically weak, Lehechka and Mahak.
Is Lehechka really that physically weak though? He's got like what, one retirement and one walkover in the past year?
Yeah, he's also weak in the head.
Yeah, I think he's more weak in the head, is my take.
Yeah, he can't endure any level of like pain or discomfort. Like he just throws in the towel. He has no change of tactics. Like he's a complete mess. I'm laying the games with Dolo tomorrow. It's only
Ooh, that's popcorn tennis. I'm on
no
Lehechka as the
way.
dog. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Lehechka money
Really?
line plus 210 as the dog.
No way. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I guess as a
I also have an 18-1 to win the event.
Lechka.
Oh yeah, so I'm heavier on Lechka. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done that in Madrid. I had enough. Had enough. Had enough of
To
Lech.
me, this is like he's become like he like it's like I think Dole should be favored. Don't get me wrong. It's just like like getting Lechka as a dog now. Like if he pulls the plug some percentage of the time, like you can lose those percentages, and it's a little bit more okay, right? Like
Fair. Fair. So you
and
still
Dolo's
didn't
not
answer.
exactly strong in the head either in key moments. Like
Yeah, that is true. That is a good point. But he's been Mr. Under and covering spreads. He's been really good at it.
he's playing really well. He's
Yeah.
playing really well.
So you still didn't answer my question with Djokovic. So
So 3 out of 5, he probably slides in. He's definitely below the top three in best of 5.
You put him below Rude at this point?
Probably, but he's probably in that group. I'd have a hard time putting him below Musetti just because, like,
Ooh.
yeah, I'd have a hard time putting him below Musetti.
I
But
think Rossetti's going to get scared again.
oh yeah, of course. But when is he not? Like, when did we bet him to get the first break? That was recently, or it was a month or two ago. We bet him to get the first break. He did, and then he completely went away.
Yeah, so in 22 they played the French, and that was the two bagels, right? In the
Yep.
fourth and the fifth set, right? And then they played a five-setter last year, and that was like closer. I just don't think Djokovic has the tennis game now. Like I think Musetti's like tennis game is just so much better at this present day moment that I don't think Djokovic can match that. Like mental the mentals don't come into play unless your tennis is at a certain level.
I mean, it was just 2 months ago that he beat Musetti 2-2.
That's hard court. You talk about like natural surfaces that
I know, I know, I know, I know. I hear you. I think he's the hardest one to place because, like, based on how he's playing at this moment, I completely agree with you. But like, what is his real level? Like, I don't know, And then
Yeah.
do the mental. I feel like the mental's playing more at a slam where like Novak is. That's what he's training for at this point, right? Like he's training for slams, and that's what yeah, that's what he's training for, and that's what he's and he's
Yeah.
mentally been there so many times. He's not mentally like he's more used to that moment than anybody in the history of the game, right? So like, that's
I'm just really curious if like if Djokovic plays like an Arthur Fils in the fourth round, what does that come out as? What price?
well, I think that's actually really interesting because like Feast has shown like that he enjoys those matchups
Exactly, and he believes,
and
right?
he
But he's
believes.
never proven it though, right? Versus a guy that's out of form but has obviously proven it.
Feast has never proven it in best of 5, but he's proven it in best of 3.
I know, but if Fils and Djokovic play in like a Roland Garros like a fourth round match,
It's different. I agree. Fair enough. It's different.
right? But then also Djokovic has built some form, right? If he's won three matches,
Yeah,
then that means like
he's
he's
built some form. Yeah.
built something, right? So I wonder how that kind of matchup gets priced.
I would think Djokovic would surely, 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 surely be a favorite. I mean, you have to look no further than the odds in Geneva right now, right? Like he's I think he
14
was like
favorites.
what?
Are you backing Fushevik?
Yes, I just don't know how yet.
I think set one is probably the best play.
Yeah, it's either set 1 or plus 1.5 sets. That's what I'm debating between.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you don't fade Djokovic as a big favorite.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's hard. But yeah, I mean, right now, I would put Djokovic in a best of five tier. I would put him in that Rune Sissipas tier.
So you're lower. Okay.
A little lower.
Okay.
It's just
I mean, I think you could make an argument for like anywhere from like third to like below the Ruben Tsitsipas
right,
tier. You know what
right.
I mean? Like I think you make an
No, it's
argument for
hard.
anything. I think it's the most interesting one to place because I think you can make an argument, and I probably wouldn't be able to push back too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also put Rune way ahead of Sissipas at this moment. Like I think Sissipas is like probably in a tier from like 11 to 14.
Well, you're pretty close. I mean, I got okay. All right. All
You
right.
know?
Okay.
And like rank the Americans on clay.
Paul,
Yep.
Fritz. Like I don't think Fritz is that bad on clay. Like it's his worst surface, right? And he's not top 10, but like he's probably somewhere in the mid-teens, you know.
Mhm.
Um, Paul Fritz. Uh, I guess next I'll go Korda. It should be Tiafo, but I'll go Korda. Paul Fritz, Korda, Tiafo, Shelton, Nakashima, Yaron, Mickelson,
Mhm.
and I think I'll stop ranking at that point.
Yeah.
I think there's probably enough
Yeah,
guys there.
I'm in agreement there. That's exactly how I would place it. Um,
Tiafo should be higher, but he plays so poorly when he's not interested that it just doesn't. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. We'll post our official power rankings before the French Open
yeah, yeah.
on X. We'll do top up to top 15. Like now
Okay,
we're discussing it, but I actually want to have it in order. Just
okay,
for the event. So I think that would be good. So we'll do like two separate ones: the 3 out of 5 one and the 2 out of 3 one.
okay. And we can see how much people want to bash him and move him around.
Yes, yes. I think it's cool. Before we go, I just wanted to talk about like a few guys who are lower on the rankings that I just wanted to get some thoughts on. So one guy that had a really disappointing clay court season is João Fonseca. And I think he's kind of proven that like he's not quite there yet. Um he did take some time off after Miami. Like we were praising that decision, but maybe it wasn't so good after all. But he's been quite disappointing. A bad loss to Jesper De Jong, um, in a challenger.
Yeah, I also think and you're gonna laugh at this because I have this take, and
Yeah,
I am probably one of the rare people with this take.
yeah,
But we're now moving him into a different hemisphere, right? We're making him travel. His success had come in South America, Miami, right?
right. That's
Which is
true.
in crowds that are gonna be positive to him, cultures that are gonna be positive to him, like places he's probably more used to. Now we're putting him in Europe, and also now we're having him play like a real ATP tour schedule, right?
Hmm.
Not only are we doing that, we're having him travel, we're having him deal with like these kind of new things.
Hmm.
I think there's an adjustment period. Like I don't I am
He's played very little. I mean, he played 2 matches in Madrid, beat Moeller, and then lost to Tommy Paul in 2 tiebreaks. No shame in that. Then he lost to De Jong and Estoril, and then he played 1 match in Miami, lost to Marjan.
well, you're not going to play much when you're losing the first round.
Yeah, but he hasn't played any challengers. He hasn't like played
Well,
the.
Estro was a challenger. Since he took that time off, he's taken 1 week off. He's taken 1 week off. He didn't play in the challenger last week, and now he's not playing this week. I'm assuming.
He's not. But I'm surprised he hasn't played those 2 weeks, like last week and this week.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's pretty little when you actually look at it. I hear your point. It's pretty little. I mean, it is. He's only played 4 matches in 2 months. Yeah, it's Yeah, I think it's like
but apparently, I'm just reading an article. He has an ambitious grass court schedule. He's playing Stuttgart, Halle, and Eastbourne.
is that ambitious? Like I feel like it's pretty normal.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, most guys take like 1 week off, but I guess he didn't play that much on the clay. I guess he's gearing up for grass. But yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
I don't like I'm not surprised, I think like you had to expect there was going to be some up and down with him, like he's a tough guy to price. I still think he's a really, really freaking good player.
he is, but he's not Alcaraz at 18,
No, no,
right? Like I don't think he's on a path to winning the US Open. Like what when Alcaraz did at 18 is what.
no. Yeah. Not this. Yeah. He's not going to win the US Open this year. Right.
Yeah.
Correct about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But um I mean, prospects for the French. I think this is going to be a bad slam for him. Also, best of 5 on clay. Like it's tough.
Yeah.
He might be fade material in the first round. I mean, we got to see the draw, obviously, but like if he played a Francisco Comasana in the first round, like that's a match I'd probably be willing to fade him just because of the fitness edge that Comasana has.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely somebody who like the market valuation will still be high on, right? So it'll be interesting to see where it comes out at. Yeah.
Yeah. Arnaldi, who had a decent run in Madrid.
I don't know, man. I think we've kind of, we get hyped up about guys,
Yeah.
and I think like we've kind of seen like he's yet to take. I was thinking about this. I was looking at the Arnaldi Marajan match coming up tomorrow, and like
Yeah.
Marajan's kind of taken a step up this year in clay. He's playing a little bit better than he had throughout his career. I think he's taken. He's not a massive leap, but he's taken a step, right? Like he's playing like, yeah, like he's playing like, and maybe Arnaldi's taking like he's kind of stagnated.
It's weird that Marajan, I mean, has like his. I feel like his best surface is clay. I would expect it to be on a quicker surface.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Arnaldi. I feel like he had some good matches in Madrid, but he hasn't been able to just maintain that consistency.
I just don't think he's cleaned up the issues with his game. Like that's why he's stagnated. I just don't think he's like like the. It's actually a little disappointing. Because I mean, like we talk, like you talk about this more than I do, but like you kind of like, okay, he comes on the scene and he's clearly got this issue. Sometimes he overplays, sometimes he overhits,
Yeah.
you know, but like, and then, and like but you get excited because he's coming up. He's only, he's only young 20s, which isn't that young for a guy who's gonna like try to win slams, but it's not that old either, right? It's like probably like middle, pretty average time for like a blooming. So you get this, this guy in like his young 20s, he's coming up. Like, okay, maybe he'll keep, cleaning up the issues of his game and keep rising. And we've seen him kind of stagnate out temporarily, right? Like I mean, I think he still has room to improve and he could still do that, but he's kind of stagnated out the past like almost 12 months, 10 months, 12 months.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not playing Rublev every week.
Well, that's the issue, right? Like it's not. I mean, that's a great point that you bring up. Like he hasn't fixed it. Like he's a very matchup dependent guy.
He is. He's a very
and he hasn't fixed that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Kaboli has similar issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Two Italian guys with talent, but they haven't really been able to put it together. I'm in full agreement. I think Madrid was like the only time that he's won multiple matches in a row this year.
You might be right about that. Yeah. Delray Beach, he won 2 in a row.
That's right.
Indian Wells, he won 2 in a row. So, but yeah, it's the first good run he's really strung together. Yeah. Where he's strung like 3-4 matches together,
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been, it's been yeah. Anyways, no, we can move to another guy.
It's been up and down, yeah, for Arnaldi. How about what was I gonna bring up? Hurkacz, who did have a decent run in
Rome,
surprisingly, making the quarters, but like I don't know. I was looking at the match against who is he playing tomorrow? Rinderknech. And like how is Rinderknech a plus 300 dog? Like, especially at altitude. I feel like that's
I don't understand how the spread is 3.5 either. Like that to me, that whole match is wrong. Like, I don't understand how 10.5 games is plus 170 in the first set. Like, I feel like You know, like I feel like we're giving Hurkacz a lot of credit here based on
Is
Rome.
Hubie all the way back? Like, I don't think so. Just off one decent run in Rome.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. Like, and that decent run, he beat Pedro, which is a good win. Yaron, and he beat Mensick in a match where he saved 7 out of 8 break points,
Yeah.
and he converted 0 of 3. So he actually got broke. I mean, the only break in the match went to Mensick. Or no, sorry. There were 4 breaks in the match. Three to Mensick, one to or wait. No, yeah, right. The only break in the match went to Mensick. So Huey just kind of botted his way through and saved 7 out of 8 break points. Like,
So you're on Rinderneck in some capacity, right?
yeah, I mean, as of right now, I have the set one over, and I really like the 3.5 games there. I mean, obviously, like the money line is fine too, right? Like you're
Yeah.
picking between bets, but yeah.
I'm gonna play the set one over and the Rinderneck money line. What price do you get on that?
The set one over 10.5 was
Plus
170.
275 still? Jesus.
Tie break was like 250 or something. You got 275. Maybe it went up. Money line is 290. I'm seeing 300 range. Yeah, I think all of those are good plays. You know, it's really just big. I mean,
At
you could also
altitude.
play this as a money line. If you wanted to, you could play this as a money line over like a dog over combo. Like I think there's a lot of ways to play Rinderneck there.
I'm definitely playing them at the money line at plus 300, nearly plus 300. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't get that either at altitude for sure. I mean, yeah, Rinderneck. Yeah, they're Rinderneck
No,
two.
it might not be 50-50, but it's like 64. It's close.
Yeah, I don't even know that I would say it's 60-40, but I don't think it's 67-33.
Right. I guess let's just do a quick while we're talking about these other guys, we basically can cap tomorrow's matches.
Yeah, real quick. We don't
Real
need to
quick.
go crazy here.
Not too. Yeah, Popper and Fernley. I'm on Fernley
I
there.
want Popperin, man. Like one of these
Popcorn
guys.
tennis.
This is more popcorn tennis. Like
Please.
this is a really lazy take, but like one of these guys has won a Masters. Fernley's beaten one top 50 guy in his career, I think. McCotch. And that's it. Oh, he beat Manarino last year when Manarino was still technically top 50.
Yeah,
Like
but he
that's
did
8
pretty
of the
well with
top
altitude.
50
He
wins.
forced Dimitrov to a 3-6 in Madrid. He had a good win against Lajovic in the last round.
I don't know that I would consider Lajovic a really good win at this point. Lajovic is far from what he
Well,
used
that
to
was my
be.
favorite bet of the first round. Fernley
Yeah.
against. Did you bet that?
No, I stayed away, but yeah. I was not on Lajovic, let me put it that way.
Okay. No, I don't know. Popperin is his stock has diminished, and
See, I think that's stupid. Like like if you think his stock is like I think he
where's
is. He's like a borderline top 50 player, like top 40, top 50 player. Let's be honest, he got lucky, won a Masters. He didn't get any better. He had a couple good months. And now like there's an opposite side where like sometimes he's not as good, but like he still beat who'd he beat? He beat Casper Ruud in Monte Carlo last month. He's also lost to Wawrinka. Like there's nothing more that says Popper than those two results. Right? Who else can beat Casper Ruud on slow clay and lose to like old man Wawa?
well, that's my take here. Is I think Popperin is actually better on slow clay than like altitude.
I don't think court matters that much for him. He also has a good serve, right? And like like
He
I
does, but his ground strokes are a mess when he's rushed. So I
so I
actually
feel like there's positive and negatives on both sides, right? I feel like he's pretty close to an all quarter because like he's got like, yeah. Like
all right.
but yeah, I think this is
I also think Fernley is slightly undervalued, and that's another reason for my pick.
I think that's a better take. Like if you want to have that take, that's fine. Like
Okay.
look, I don't think this is a massive difference, right? But like I got Popperin at minus 105. I feel like he should probably be like a minus 130 favorite. Like it should be like a minus 130 plus 110 in favor
And
of
I'm a
Poppy.
flip flop. I trust me, I think it's close too, but I don't think it's I think Fernley should be a slight favorite.
I don't, I can't, I mean, I look at Fernley, man. Like he's got a lot of wins, but it's a lot of wins against like competition. Like not terrible, terrible
Well,
competition.
that's
He's not
another
beating up
thing
like,
with Fernley. I think he's less prone to dips. Like Popperin has like a higher like top
oh, I
level
completely agree with
defensively.
that. Like that's the problem, right? Like, and that's why I almost stayed away here, is because like I'm still not getting plus money. And like
Yeah,
Popperin's level could be anything, you know? Like I
exactly.
mean, Popperin could go into sloppy run mode and completely give this match away.
Popperin. Great name.
There's a huge piece of this where sloppy just gives the where Popperin goes sloppy run and just gives it away. Like
Yeah. So I'm on Fernley there. Fushevik, I'm gonna be on the set one. That's plus 200.
I gotta think I'll end up being there too. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up tailing you there. That probably will be GBM.
All right,
I'll
GBM.
confirm it, but that'll probably be GBM. I'm
Fernley
that's
Popper
what I
will
was
be
looking at
top
too. We
court.
have time because that match isn't until noon tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure of that.
Rinderneck in some capacity should be GBM too.
Yeah, I like the 3.5 there, the games, but
I'm on
yeah.
Marjan money line at minus 130.
Um, what did I take there? Did I take anything there? I thought I had a play there.
I also like the under 22 and a half. Well, it's gotten more juiced actually. Maybe not. But I like Marjan in some capacity.
I might not be on that. I actually think after I stared at that enough, I think I was able to talk myself into not playing that. Like, but it's an interesting match to discuss. Like, I think yeah.
Although,
Like, I think like Marjan's taking a step up and and uh Arnoldi's stagnated, and that's why now he's a Fusfitz or not Fusfitz. Marjan's a slight favorite, but like it's
yeah. Although,
yeah.
you know what? I'm probably going to stay away because I actually think it's a decent matchup for Arnoldi because like Marjan is an aggressive player and like I feel like Arnoldi still prefers that where he can like rely on his defense. Also, the drop shot for Marjan, like Arnoldi, one thing about him is that he's super athletic, right? So
Yep.
he can get to all those drop shots.
But I feel like he's not playing as much. He's not playing that drop shot as much anymore, Marjan.
He's upped it a little bit.
Okay.
He should be playing it. It's really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, yeah, I'm actually gonna stay away more than I think about it. You're on Borges, right?
Yeah, I mean, at plus 110, I think that line might have moved a little bit, and I probably
It's
like
plus
I
one
don't know
hundred.
what.
Plus 100 for Nuno.
That's probably right around my minimum buy point. Like it's not like like I don't like. Trust me, I don't think that like Nuno's gonna like dominate that. I just think like man, he's a better player than Offner.
Yeah. What about Hollis and Fritz?
So when this opened a lot wider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but where this is kind of settled in at with, I think, let me look at where it is now. Oh, this is Geneva. I have Hamburg up. We'll get to Hamburg in a second. Um, where this is settled in at with Fritz at minus 500 and Halise at plus, I mean, like plus 380 is still pretty long as a dog. So, like, maybe you could play the Halise, but I'm Fritz is a much more complete player, which would be, but he's also like I wouldn't. I mean, I'm probably gonna stay away. Is kind of where I'm going with it. Like I think this opened at like a
It's
four spread.
it's a unjuiced 3.5. It's minus 105 at 3.5. That's what I'm leaning,
Yeah,
actually.
that's not bad. That would be a lean for me. I probably won't play it, but that would be a lean. Um,
I think Hollis has dropped since like, what he did last year in that Gastad run.
well, I mean, the altitude's good for him, right? Yeah, I mean,
It is,
like,
but theoretically it should be good for Fritz too.
yeah.
right? Like Fritz like has a big serve.
I mean, at one point, Halise was up at like plus 500, plus 600. So like the market has moved this. Like I feel like
Yeah.
the market has corrected this one.
Okay. At that price, yes. Like if it was 4.5 or something, I'd be on
That's
Halis.
what I'm saying. If it was 4.5, 5, like I'd have to get with Halise. But like I feel like it, or if you get like an over under of like 21.5, if you get like a Halise plus 4, plus 4.5, I'd have to get with it. But like that's gone. So yeah, I think where it is now.
And right now, if I would play Halis, I'd probably play the set one money line, just because like Fred.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
What did Fritz do in Rome?
Oh, I don't remember offhand. The other thing is set one. I think set one tiebreak is like probably get like 2-1. That could be a look too for people
Fritz
looking
lost
to
to
play it.
Giron 6-6 in Rome. Not a good loss, but that's probably like the worst tournament for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'll
Anything
be on the
else in
3.5. It's a
Geneva?
small play, but I'm gonna be on the 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's it in terms of Geneva, right?
Yep.
And
Quick
then going to Hamburg.
RBA
Um,
Tiafo.
no, I'm gonna stay away there. I think Tiafoe's like a 2.5 game favorite, like minus 190. I mean, like he's so much better than a good at this point, but he also like I also don't really want to back Tiafoe, so yeah. Like,
I agree. It's a stay away. Lechka Dolo, I think, is popcorn tennis, right?
yep, yep. You have probably better logic than me there. Also, Cerundolo's played a lot of tennis, but he does play a lot of tennis. But he's made a lot of deep runs now.
Yeah,
Like at
but
some point, I think,
I've taken that fitness take like the last couple weeks, and it's burned me in the ass. Like,
yeah,
fine, he's fine. He just likes playing tennis.
yeah.
So I'm on the Ugo Caraballi Echeverry
I
over.
guess before we move on to Lechka, the other reason I like Lechka is that I feel like the fact that he's had poor form is probably baked into that line. I'm less worried about. I don't know. I feel like Lechka can lose matches. Like it can just happen. Like he's
Yeah,
and I think he's a pretty good dog or pass kind of guy because he does have like talent. Like he can hit the ball.
he does
Like this
have.
is gonna be a ball bashers contest.
It is. Yeah. And for me, it's just purely form. Like
We're both gonna lose this. This is gonna be 3 sets, and it's gonna be like 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, and we're both gonna lose. It's happened several times this year. Actually, we've been on
like it's
tennis,
pathetic.
and we've both gotten it wrong. It's really funny. Like,
Ugo Caraballi and Echeverry. I like the over there. I'm on the over 22.5 at minus 105.
I don't like that at all. I would
That's
way rather play
three
the
sets.
sets. Yeah, Ugo Carbelli, I think, has played like 2 sets out of 28 that have gone over 10.5 games.
Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna play
And it
that.
makes sense, right? He has no serve and no weapons. So, like, either the other guy's gonna make or he's gonna miss.
Caraballi, the over 2.5 sets is plus 140. It's a decent
On
price.
what site?
That whale.
Bet well, oh, at plus 140, I'd be all over that. I need a
What,
bet
what
well
is it?
account, man.
What is it?
140 is like
What is it on
140.
Bovada?
What? 125?
Whoa. All right, I got to
Yeah.
pounce on that.
Like those 15 cents, yeah, 140, that'd be a pounce. Like Echeverry makes matches way too complicated because he misses for no reason.
Yeah.
Ugo Carbelli has no skills, but he fights, so he makes matches way too complicated. Like that's it. I mean, I feel like honestly that's the only way to play that match is over 2.5 sets.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, over in some capacity.
Yeah.
2.5 sets is good. Yeah, Bet Whale, they have promos. Like you could get, I think, 150% bonus.
Okay.
So you
I'd like to
might
take advantage of that.
Fokina, Kaboli. It just seems like a nightmare match to bet, but I like laying the games with Fokina. I think these are very similar players, but like Fokina is just a way better version.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away there. But I hear you. I think you have a very, very valid take.
Yeah. Rublev and Engel.
Under 20 for me. Like if Rublev can't smash a 17-year-old Justin Angle who like is clearly still not an ATP level player, doesn't have ATP level strokes, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen of him.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? And under 20, I think was minus 105.
You have a point. Yeah, all right, that can be GBM.
Like,
Is
I
that
don't think it's amazing value. I'd probably be a stay away if that same price was under 19 and a half. You
is
know, or 19, but
is is this Rublev's first match?
it no, because this is
Oh,
Hamburg. So he did who'd he beat? He beat somebody.
oh, Schumer.
Yeah, he beat Schumer 3-4. I mean, you watched the Engel Struff match, or didn't you?
I had it on in the background, but
Did Engel look good, or was it Struff just not just
Struff
being?
is Struff is terrible.
Yeah,
Like Struff shouldn't be 4-game favorite against anyone,
yeah,
literally anyone. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna play it too. We can make it GBM as well.
yeah. It's one of my more preferred plays of the day. I think, like, yeah.
Yeah, under 20. All right. And I love the Zverev Muller under as well.
What is that? 22.
Under 20 and a half is minus 116, 115.
They're like, man, I don't know. I know he's getting better at it, but he still makes way too many matches way too complicated for no
Yeah, but
reason. But
against Muller, what does Muller do to hurt him? Haven't they just played a couple weeks ago and it was in
yeah, Zverev beat the crap out of him. But Zverev played really well that match. Like, if Zverev plays well, yes, he like the under should come in. I just don't know if it will. You know,
yeah, I remember backing Muller in that match and I got
I
burnt.
backed him too, and that was a mistake.
It's
But
4.
like, it was 4-1. Zverev kicked the crap out of him. But
And I think Muller is actually more likely to do better in those conditions because there's a little bit of altitude in Munich. Like I think at Hamburg there's no altitude. Like I actually think these are worse conditions for Muller. Like he has nothing to hurt him.
I get the take. I get the take. I just, I don't know. I hear you. I hear you.
You know what I might do? I might sell the game and do the under 19 and a half and get
Okay.
that. Because I think like it's either a type 3 setter or he just beats the living crap out of him and beats him like 2-2.
Yeah, I
I
hear
feel
you.
like there's no in between.
I hear you.
So, and then Dardarian Nakashima.
This is probably my favorite play of the day.
Oh God, you got a lot of plays.
I've got the dog over sets combo here. Plus 143 for 3 sets. And then Nakashima plus 125. Not that I think Nakashima is a better player than Dardarian on clay. I think it's really close. But like, this is two guys who are first step, like front foot players, serve first players, offensive players. Like, I just feel like this match is gonna be like it's gonna come down to a few points and a few like I feel like it's close, like just by virtue of these guys' style matchup, you know?
Yeah.
Like these guys are weirdly similar players.
They are.
Like the 143 for 3 sets to me is insane. There's such a good chance that one of these sets goes to a tiebreak. And like if you're playing a tiebreak with plus 143 on one guy, like
What book did you get that on?
bet online.
Bet online.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Let me see. It might be.
It is.
I don't know why it would have moved that far.
I don't really want to pick a side though. What's the Nakashima money line?
120. I think I got 120 or 125. 125.
125.
Like I'm not saying, like I said, like it's not like that play is not the 143 is still there for 3 sets. Like the Nakashima 125 is not that I think Nakashima should be a favorite. I just I don't really I just don't see why either of these guys is a huge favorite against the other, you know? I feel like it's really close.
I'm on that.
Like at 110, 115, it would be a no play for me. But like
On Bet Whale, it's plus 125, and I was like, that's where it should be. But if I'm getting plus 143 on it, hell yeah.
for the 2.5 sets, yeah. For the 3 sets, yeah.
That's GBM. Wow, so we
Yeah,
got
I
a
was
lot.
amazed. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
It doesn't. It doesn't. That's a close match on paper. And
Yeah.
both guys compete, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Darderi.
He threw in the towel in Madrid. That's
Yeah. But that's the thing that's not terrible at the over 2.5 sets. Because if he throws in the towel, you push.
right. Right. Yeah, and I think he's more likely to retire than to like fight it out.
Right.
Right? Or like to just play it out. You know?
Yeah, I would think.
Like the Young did in against Sinner and
Yeah.
but all right. Wow, so lots of plays tomorrow. Lots of plays.
Yeah. Are you playing Paracard FAA? I'm not, but I'm just that's the last match.
What's the over under?
Think 23 or 23.5.
That's in Geneva,
No, it's in Hamburg.
Hamburg. See if it was in Geneva.
Oh, if it was in Geneva, over 23 would be a great play.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even see it on Bet Online. Gotta go in a different book. Let me see here. Paracard has been a little bit better as of late. A little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Didn't he make a challenger final?
He made it.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he had a run in one of the challengers. Yeah, he won the Bordeaux Challenger.
Oh, he won. He won it outright. Beat Bash, Rinky.
Bash, Rinky, Shevchenko, and Herbert. I mean, that is a challenger. That is a legitimate like challenger win.
It is, but it's legit. It's fine.
Yeah.
Better than what he's been doing.
Yeah.
You know what my play is going to be? It's going to be the Paracard plus 2.5 at minus 115. I think those 2.5 games really matter.
Oh, they matter a lot. They matter a lot. I mean,
so I'd much rather play that than the plus 155 money line.
yeah. No, I mean, if you get one Paracard break, you're looking really good there to cover the 2.5.
And FAA is a poor returner. Like I think
that's the thing, right? That's what I'm saying. Like the 2.5 could be a big deal there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So GBM, we got Fushevik first set money line plus 200.
Yep.
We got Carbai and Echeverry over 2.5 sets plus 140.
Yeah. Yep.
We got Rublev Angle under 20.5.
Yep. Under 20.
Okay, under 20. Oh yeah, under 20. Under 20. Minus what, 105?
Minus 105, yeah.
And the Darderi and
Nakashima 3 sets at 1. So four GBM plays. When's the last time we've done that? We haven't done that in forever.
We haven't GBM play in like 2 weeks, it feels
Yeah,
like.
I know. Granted, I was out, but yeah, we like last week we didn't have any GBM plays either, even once I came back. So yeah.
No. And then we got 2 popcorn tennis as well. We got Fernley and Poppy. Right?
Yep.
I'm on Fernley, you're on Popperin, and then we got Lechka and Cerundolo.
Yep. So active. That means I think all 6 of my picks are either popcorn or I think I don't have any other picks that are just like I might have 1 or 2 others, but I have a lot of picks tomorrow. Surprising number. Like I was kind of like weirded out as I went through. I was like, I have way too many picks. Like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, usually I have like 1 pick out of like 10 matches. Like this, I was like, this is like.
So all right, it's gonna be a fun day tomorrow. I mean,
it'll be a very fun day. Some money's gonna go one way or the other.
Shit. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see. All right. So we'll be back on hopefully Friday night, maybe Saturday afternoon for a Roland Garros pod. It's not gonna be like a 4-hour pod, but we'll make it good. Yeah. So. Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Yep. See you, everyone.
See ya.